Welcome back to the Ingraham Angle, live from London. Today, it wasn't all protests for us. We also managed to visit a local pub with Brexit leader Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, look, I just happened to walk into a pub and look at you walk into a pub and look at who you run into.
The reputation's true.
Exactly. So, Nigel, today we were among some of the protesters. There were several thousand people, maybe 10,000 people in Trafalgar Square. There were communists, socialists, and people who just are anti-Trump in the most vehement way. They were anti-Trump, anti-Brexit, anti-Nigel Farage. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm very pleased to be in that. I mean, goodness me, if my name wasn't there, I'd be so upset. And you talk about these protesters, and they're what I call the usual suspects. You know, they're the people that turn up and protest at absolutely everything, including my meetings, of course. But among them, more significantly, was one Jeremy Corbyn. So here's the guy that could be the next British Prime Minister after the next election, and rather than attending a state banquet at Buckingham Palace, he's in Trafalgar Square at 70 years old, almost like a left-wing student politician. And I think the significance of that is he just does not look like a Prime Minister in the eyes of people. So I reckon the morning's a big win.
When you see the President with Theresa May today, outgoing Prime Minister, what do you think now is the posture that the Brits should take with the United States? Trump wants to do a trade deal. Is that realistic, given the flux that we're in with the leadership?
It's completely realistic. I mean, I have to say, though, I'm getting a bit tired of this conversation. Should we talk about a trade deal? I think it's time to act. I think it's time we formed a committee of industrialists and businessmen and women. The Americans did the same. Why don't we actually start the work on this?
For people in the United States who don't quite understand the British system, it's very different from our own. Could you form a coalition? The Brexit Party only started 2 months ago with the Conservative Party. It had a terrible showing in the EU national elections just last week.
There are lots of permutations here. I mean, one is that the Conservative Party continue to fail on Brexit, and you could see the death of a 200-year-old party. These things do happen. More realistically, post Mrs May, they will get a leader with a little bit more courage.
Who is it? Give us some names.
Well, you know, it could be Boris, but Boris talks a big game, but often doesn't deliver.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah, you know, and he's a great personality and people know him, but you know, we'll have to see who emerges out of this. It's the great battle of the West. It's globalism versus nationalism. That's the debate that is going on. It's the issue of our times, and the epicenter is here in London right now. And I can tell you, having spent 25, and you know this, I've spent 25 years fighting for this. I am absolutely certain that British public opinion is with us. The British political class haven't quite woken up to it, but I'm going to make sure they do.
Fast forward, Joe Biden somehow wins the nomination. He wins the nomination, but then he ends up winning the presidency. What would that mean to the globalist influence in Europe? They'd be thrilled, would they not be, to go back to business as usual?
We're on the right track, but I feel that if Brexit was to fail, that would make the likelihood of Biden winning even more likely. And we are going to win.
Nigel, thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.